Welcome everyone. So we will be discussing Indian contribution to science. This is a book which is compiled by Vigyan Bharati, and this is one of the chapters which is there for the VVM examination. Chapter 11: Conventional, Non-Conventional and Clean Energy Sources of India. Energy is an inevitable requirement for growth. Researchers will tell you that the more energy a society consumes per capita, the better is the quality of life. Whenever is the history of mankind, we have made a breakthrough in our lifestyle. Our energy consumption has also significantly increased, be it when people settled into villages to start farming or at the time of the Industrial Revolution. As a developing country, India is in a state of transition in energy usage and has rapidly increasing energy demands to support its growth story. Growing energy demands and concerns for energy security are now spurring us to look for alternative energy sources. We have abundant reserves of coal, and more than 50% of our energy needs are met by coal. But we do not have enough petroleum reserves, hence, we import more than 70% of our petroleum needs. Reducing our dependence on foreign sources of oil is one of the major reasons why we are exploring new avenues of energy. This is where we want the renewable and non conventional energy resources to step in. Though it is difficult to estimate when the world will run out of fossil fuels, it is certain that we will run out of them. Some estimates will tell you 2 decades, while others would say we have enough for the next 2 centuries. For dependable sources of energy in future, we have to look beyond coal and petroleum and explore more energy sources that might be entirely new and the old ones we have forgotten about. Often, the terms renewable and non conventional are erroneously used interchangeably. A renewable energy resource is one whose reserve can be replenished from time to time. Many tried and trusted energy forms such as wood, charcoal, biowaste are all renewable. Archaeological digs tell us about the metalworks in ancient world that kept their furnaces fired up for thousands of years by renewably utilizing stretches of forest land. If it is a renewable source of energy, it does not have to be non conventional and neither does it need to be clean. Non conventional energy sources are those which have not been historically used. So, technology for their use is still developing, and scientists are working continuously to make their utilization process more efficient. Examples are hydroelectricity, solar photovoltaic plants, and nuclear energy. One must remember that coal or petroleum did not just become ubiquitous sources of energy overnight. A considerable amount of research and scientific genius starting from 19th century went into getting them to where they are today in terms of reliability and large scale use. Hence, it should not be surprising or perplexing that growth of non-conventional energy sources would also require similar volumes of research and patience. A non-conventional energy source need not always be clean and renewable. Example being nuclear energy. India has well developed indigenous nuclear power program and considerable amount of fuels in form of thorium sands and for breeder reactors. Though during the process of power production, no pollutants are emitted from the nuclear plant. The problem starts with the spent nuclear fuel rods. Even though they can no longer be used for power production, these fuel rods are still considerably radioactive, which makes their disposal a problem. As of now, these fuel rods are disposed of by burying them in concrete inside deep mines or boreholes from where their radiations cannot affect living beings. But considering that some of these radioactive elements can remain active for thousands of years, the hope is to arrive at better disposable technologies where it is while it is scary to think of what an accident at a nuclear power plant might do to the neighboring areas, these perils are well known to the plant designers who make a nuclear power plant more robust and safer than other conventional power plants. India has vast potentials for developments in all three forms of energy: renewable, non conventional, and clean. But it is anticipated by most researchers that the drive to move to renewable would not so much be due to end of fossil fuels as due to the harmful effects that fossil fuels have on our environment. So here we shall primarily confine our discussion to clean and renewable sources. Clean and renewable energy sources. India has limited potential in the field of hydroelectricity and much of it has already been realized. Currently, there is much stress and interest regarding micro hydroelectric projects. These would result in small hydro turbines running on a small or large rivers, and a series of turbines along the rivers can meet the energy requirements of a number of villages instead of one. Also, the construction of gigantic dams across rivers can be avoided. Most of our country's renewable energy potential lies in the development of wind energy. Wind energy surveys of large parts of the country are still in progress. We might have an even larger potential than estimated. Till mid 2016, more than 17 gigawatts wind energy production capacity has been installed. Being located in the tropical zone, India receives plenty of sunlight, but regular rains due to monsoon results in having very few areas like parts of Gujarat and Rajasthan of uninterrupted sunshine to generate electricity through solar energy. Currently, all the solar power projects are photovoltaic in nature, while small scale solar thermal installations are operational in cities like Chennai and Bangalore, giving hot water, water purifications, and other heating requirements for the private homes and hotels. There are future plans of establishing large scale solar thermal power plants in regions of Rajasthan. Such a plant would use the sun's energy to vaporize water and the steam to drive a turbine for power production. There are, of course, the usual barriers to development of solar power, namely large initial investments and large land area requirement. Another viable mean of energy production in conservation of organic waste into energy. We have had some success in this regard through pilot biogas projects in several villages across the country. Researchers are developing more and new ways of making energy from organic matters, waste, or otherwise. One of the ways of production of syngas, which can be used to produce hydrocarbons and synthetic petroleum in the long run. One vital aspect of energy use apart from power generation is transportation. This sector has also seen the growth of new fuels that could end our dependence on imported petrol. Amongst alternative fuels, we now use liquefied petroleum gas LPG, compressed natural gas CNG, mixtures of CNG and hydrogen. Future plans include use of hydrogen in petrol burning engines too. Biodiesels derived from oils of plants like Jatropha, Karanja, and even from algae are mixed with diesel in a 20 is to 80 ratio, are used through a limited scope. The largest advantage of developing alternative fuels is that they can be used in the current vehicles with minimal to no changes. And most importantly, these alternative fuels have a minimal adverse effect on the atmosphere compared to to the fossil fuels. Parallel to developing and exploring new energy sources, we should also emphasize on economic use of our resources. No replacement for fossil fuels is going emerge suddenly out of the blue. Even if it does, with a growing population, our energy demands are increasing much faster than ever before in the history. The need of the hour is efficient use of energy and end of all wasteful usage. We need to have more efficient refrigerators and air conditioners. We should stress on building efficient lighting systems and street lights that would light up and shut off depending on the amount of surrounding light. We need more efficient power plants that may burn coal and do it more completely and cause lesser pollution. If we continuously strive towards these goals, we are bound to attain energy security on long term basis. Thank you.